My friends, we live in a world that moves at a relentless pace, a world where the demands on our time and energy seem to be ever increasing. We are bombarded with information from every conceivable source, and the pressure to perform, to achieve, to succeed can be overwhelming. It's a constant hustle, never-ending grind, and it's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind, pushing ourselves to the brink of exhaustion. But I'm here today to remind you of a simple truth. Your mind is your greatest asset, and if you don't give it the rest it needs, you're doing yourself a grave disservice. You see, the human mind is a remarkable machine capable of astounding feats of creativity, problem-solving, and perseverance. But like any machine, it needs proper maintenance, and that maintenance comes in the form of rest, relaxation, and rejuvenation. I know what you're thinking. But Jim, I don't have time for that. I've got deadlines to meet, goals to chase, and a million things on my to-do list. And I get it, believe me. I'm caught up in the rat race, convinced that if I just pushed a little harder, worked a little longer, I'd finally reach that elusive finish line. But here's the thing. That finish line doesn't exist. It's a mirage, a cruel trick played by our own minds, convincing us that if we just keep going, keep striving, keep sacrificing, we'll eventually find the mythical place of peace and contentment. But the truth is, the place can only be found within ourselves, and the path to it is paved with self-care, balance, and a willingness to step back and breathe. Think if you owned a high-performance car, would you run it at full throttle all day, every day, without ever stopping for maintenance? Or a tune-up, of course, not. You'd risk burning out the engine, wearing down the part, and ultimately rendering that beautiful machine a useless hunk of metal. Your mind is no different. It's a finely tuned instrument, a marvel of evolution. And if you don't give it the care and attention it deserves, it will eventually break down. And when your mind breaks down, everything else in your life suffers: your productivity, your relationships, your physical health, your sense of well-being. So what's the solution? How do we give our minds the break they so desperately need? Well, my friends, it starts with a simple shift in perspective. We need to stop viewing rest and relaxation as luxuries, or worse, as signs of laziness or weakness. Instead, we must embrace them as essential components of a well-rounded, successful life. Now, I'm not talking about begging out on the couch for hours on and mindlessly scrolling through social media or binge watching the latest Netflix series. Although, let's be honest, a little bit of that can be pretty darn relaxing. No, what I'm talking about is intentional, purposeful rest, the kind that nourishes your mind, body, and soul. It could be as simple as taking a leisurely stroll through breathing in the fresh air and letting your thoughts wander. Or perhaps it's curling up with a good book, losing yourself in the pages of a captivating story. Maybe it's practicing meditation or yoga, quieting incessant chatter of your mind and connecting with your breath and your body, whatever form it takes. The key is to find activities that bring you a sense of peace, calm, and rejuvenation, activities that allow your mind to disengage from the stresses and strains of daily life and simply exist in present moment. And let me be seen, this isn't just some hippy-dippy, new age mumbo-jumbo. This is backed by solid science. Study after study has shown that regular periods of rest and relaxation can improve focus, boost creativity, enhance problem-solving skills, and even reduce the risk of burnout, mental health issues like anxiety and depression. So why do we resist it so fiercely? Why do we cling to the notion that constant hustle and grind is the only path to success? Perhaps it's because we've been conditioned to believe that rest is a sign of weakness, that taking a break is second to giving up or slacking off. But my friends, nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, it's witty to recognize when your mind needs a break, and to honor that needed is a sign of strength, not weakness. It's a testament to your self-awareness, your commitment to self-care, and your understanding that true success is not a sprint, but a marathon, a journey that requires periods of rest, recuperation along the way. Think back to some of history's greatest minds: Einstein, Da Vinci, Shakespeare. Do you think they achieved their groundbreaking insights and creative masterpieces by working themselves into a frazzled, exhausted state? Of course not. They understood the value of stepping back, allowing their minds to wander, to explore, to make connections that might have been missed in the heat of constant productivity. And it's not just the greats of the past who embrace this philosophy. Look at some of the most successful entrepreneurs, artists, and innovators. They'll tell you time and time again that their best ideas, their most creative breakthroughs, came not from endless hours of grinding, but from those precious moments of stillness, of letting their minds rest and recharge. Friends, I implore, give your mind to break. It deserves carve out time, your busy schedules, for rest, relaxation, and rejuvenation. Treat it not as a luxury, but as a necessity, as vital to your well-being and success as breathing or eating or sleeping. And don't just take my word for it. Try it for yourself. Commit to setting aside even just a few minutes each day to disconnect from the hustle and bustle of modern life, and to simply be present in the moments. You might be surprised at how quickly your mind begins to feel refreshed, how easily those creative juices start to flow, how much more focused and productive you become. Because here's the thing, when you give your mind the break it deserves, you're not just taking care of yourself, your future success. You're sharpening your most valuable tool, ensuring that it's always operating at peak performance, ready to tackle any challenge or seize any opportunity that comes your way. So go ahead, my friends, give your mind the break it deserves. Embrace the power of rest and relaxation. Watch as your life transforms, as your productivity soars, as your creativity blossoms, and as you discover a newfound sense of balance, harmony, and fulfillment. The path to true success, to lasting happiness and contentment, lies not in the constant grind, but in the willingness to pause, to breathe, to give your mind the nourishment it needs to thrive. My friends, I know what some of you might be thinking. Jim, this all sounds great in theory, but how can I possibly find the time to rest and recharge when my days are already crammed full of responsibilities? I get it, believe me, I do. We live in a world of constant demands, work obligations, family commitments, social engagement, and the never-ending list of tasks and errands that seem to multiply like rabbits. It can feel like a relentless treadmill that never stops, and the mere thought of taking a break can induce a twinge of guilt or anxiety. But here's the thing, if you don't make time for rest and relaxation, your mind will eventually force you to take that break whether you want to or not. And trust me, you don't want it to get to that point. I've seen it happen too many times. High achievers, go-getters, people at the top of their game suddenly crashing and burning from sheer mental exhaustion. They push themselves too hard for too long, ignoring the warning signs, until their minds and bodies simply couldn't take it anymore, and the fallout can be devastating through a burnout, depression, anxiety, even physical illness, all because they weren't willing to heed that simple yet crucial advice, give your mind the break it deserves. So let me ask you, would you rather proactively carve out time for rest, relaxation, or have that break thrust upon you in the form of a complete mental and physical breakdown? The choice is yours. My friends, now I know what you're thinking. But Jim, even if I wanted to take a break, I just don't have the time. And to that I say, you have to make the time. Look, I'm suggesting you abandon all your responsibilities and jet off to a tropical island for a month. Although if you can swing it, more power to you. What I'm talking about is finding small pockets of time throughout your day, little O's of calm amidst the chaos, where you can give your mind a much-needed respite. It could be as simple as waking up 15 minutes earlier each morning to enjoy a cup of coffee in peaceful silence before the day's madness begins, or maybe it's taking a true distraction-free lunch breakaway from your desk or workstation where you can savor your meal and let wander, or perhaps it's scheduling a weekly massage or a spa day where you can let the stress and tension melt away under the skilled hands of a professional, or committing to a daily meditation practice, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes of deep breathing and mindfulness. The options are endless, and the key is finding what works best for you, what activities or practices truly help you unwind, recharge, and reconnect with yourself. Because here's the thing, when you make rest and relaxation a priority, when you treat it as an essential part of your self-care routine, you're not just giving your mind a break, you're giving yourself the gift of longevity. Think about it. How many times have you pushed through exhaustion, running on fumes, only to find yourself making careless mistakes, missing important details, or simply feeling disconnected and when your mind is well rested and rejuvenated, you'll find that your productivity skyrockets, your focus sharpens, and your creativity flows like a mighty river. You'll be able to tackle challenges with renewed vigor and tackle problems with the clarity of thought that might have eluded you in your overtired state. And it's not just your work that will benefit, my friends, when you prioritize rest and relaxation. You'll find that every aspect of your life improves. Your relationships will flourish as you approach them with more patience, empathy, and emotional intelligence. Your physical health thrive as the stress and strain of constant hustle melts away, leaving you feeling energized and vibrant. But perhaps most importantly, you'll cultivate a deeper sense of joy, fulfillment, and contentment, the kind that can only come from living a life in true balance and harmony. Because at the end of the day, what is success without happiness? What good is all the wealth, the accolades, the achievements in the world, if you're constantly running on empty, sacrificing your mental and physical well-being in the pursuit of some elusive external definition of accomplishment? True success, the kind that nourishes your soul and leaves a lasting legacy, comes from a place of inner peace and equilibrium. And the only way to achieve that is by giving your mind the break it so desperately craves. Say it again, my friends. Make rest and relaxation a non-negotiable part of your life schedule. Prioritize it, treat it with the same level of importance as you would any other crucial task or commitment. And when you finally give your mind the break it deserves, you'll be amazed at the transformative power it unleashes. Suddenly the path ahead will seem clear, the obstacles more surmountable, and the possibilities more limitless than ever before. Because a well-rested mind is a force to be reckoned with, a wellspring of creativity, resilience, and boundless potential. It's the ultimate competitive advantage, a world that often mistakes busyness for productivity and chaos for progress. So go ahead, my friends. Give yourself permission to pause, to breathe, to simply exist in the moment without the constant pressure of doing, achieving, or striving. Let your mind wander, let your thoughts freely, and watch as the world opens up before you in ways you never could have imagined. And when you emerge from that restorative break, refreshed and revitalized, you'll be ready to take on any challenge, seize any opportunity, and leave an indelible mark on this world, all because you honored simple yet profound wisdom of giving your mind the break it deserves. The path to true fulfillment, to lasting success and happiness, lies not in the constant grind, but in the willingness to pause, to reset, and to nourish the most precious resource you have. You're a brilliant, beautiful mind, so what you waiting for? The journey begins now, and the destination is a life lived in balance, harmony, and unwavering joy. All you have to do is take that first brave step and give your mind the break it deserves, my friends. I know that for some of you, the idea of rest and relaxation might still feel luxury and nice to have rather than a necessity. Perhaps you're thinking, sure, Jim, it all sounds great theory, but I'm just too busy to take a break right now. There's always another deadline, another project, another fire to put out. But here's the thing, that mindset, that belief that you're simply too busy to prioritize your mental well-being is precisely what keeps so many of us trapped in a cycle of stress, burnout, and unfulfillment. It's a dangerous illusion, a seductive lie that convinces us that the path to success is paved with constant hustle and sacrifice. But I'm here to shatter that illusion, to pull back the curtain and reveal the truths that true success, the kind that lasts, kind that nourishes your soul and leaves a profound legacy, can only be achieved when you strike a balance between hard work and self-care. You see, my friends, the human mind is not a machine. It's a delicate, intricate ecosystem, a masterpiece of evolution that requires nurturing care and attention just like any other living, breathing entity. And when we neglect that care, when we push ourselves to the brink of exhaustion in the name of productivity, we're not just harming ourselves in the moment, we're setting ourselves up for a lifetime of struggle, of constantly feeling like we're treading water, never quite able to reach that elusive sense of fulfillment and contentment we so desperately crave. But it doesn't have to be that way. You have the power to break free from that cycle, to step off the treadmill of constant busyness and embrace a life of balance, harmony, and genuine well-being. And the path forward is simpler than you might think. It starts with giving yourself permission to recharge, to hit the proverbial pause button on the demands of daily life and simply exist in the present moment. Now I know what you might be thinking, but Jim, how can I possibly justify taking time off when there's so much work to be done? Won't I just fall behind misimportant deadlines and let people down? And to that I say, what good is meeting those deadlines or checking off those boxes if in the process you're sacrificing your mental and physical health, your relationships, and your overall sense of joy and fulfillment? You see, when you're operating from a place of depletion, constant stress, and exhaustion, you're not truly operating at your full potential. Sure, you might be able to power through and get the work done, but at what cost? The quality of your output suffers. Your creativity and problem-solving abilities are dulled, and you're far more likely to make cost mistakes or miss crucial details. But when you give your mind the break it deserves, when you intentionally carve out time for rest and rejuvenation, something magical happens. You work recharged, refocused, and brimming with fresh energy and inspiration. Suddenly tasks that once felt daunting become manageable challenges that seemed insurmountable, become opportunities for growth, and that endless to-do list starts to feel like a series of exciting adventures rather than weight around your neck. Because here's the thing, my Feeny, when you prioritize your mental well-being, when you make self-care a non-negotiable part of your routine, you're not just taking care of yourself, you're investing in your ability to show up as the best version of yourself in every area of your life. Think about it this way. If you had a prize racehorse, would you run it into the ground day after day without ever giving it a chance to rest and recover? Of course not. You'd risk damaging the very thing that makes that horse so valuable. Its strength, its speed, its endurance. Your mind is no different. It's a finely tuned instrument, a work of art that deserves to be nurtured, cared for, and given the opportunity to recharge and refuel. So instead of viewing rest and relaxation as a luxury, seeing them as essential components of your success strategy, schedule them into your calendar like you would any other important appointment or commitment. Treat them with the same level of reverence and respect you'd give to a high-stakes business meeting or a critical project deadline, because you make self-care a priority. When you give your mind the break it deserves, you're not just improving your productivity and performance in the short term, setting yourself up for a lifetime of sustained success, of feeling fully present and engaged in every aspect of your life. Imagine waking up each morning feeling rested, refreshed, and ready to take on the world. Imagine approaching each day with a sense of excitement and curiosity rather than dread, resignation. Imagine having the mental clarity and emotional resilience to navigate life's inevitable challenges with grace and poise. That, my friends, is the true power of rest and relaxation. It's not a luxury, but a fundamental necessity, a key ingredient in the recipe for a life well lived, a life filled with purpose, passion, and profound meaning. So let me leave you with this. Find yourself feeling overwhelmed, stressed, or on the verge of burnout. Pause, take a deep breath, and give yourself permission to step away, even if just for a few moments, to give your mind the break it so desperately needs. It might feel counterintuitive at first, like you're somehow falling behind or sharing your responsibilities. But trust me, my friends, when you come back to your work, your relationships, your life with a renewed sense of vigor and vitality, you'll wonder why you ever resisted in the first place, because in those moments of intentional rest and relaxation, you're not just recharging your batteries, you're tapping into the infinite wellspring of creativity, resilience, and power lies within each and every one of us. So go ahead, give your mind the break it deserves, embrace the power of rest, the magic of rejuvenation, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never could have imagined. A path to truth of fulfillment, to lasting success and unshakable joy starts with simple, profound act of self-care. And when you commit to walking that path, you'll discover a world of limitless possibility, a life lived in harmony with your deepest values and aspirations. So what are you waiting for? The time to start is now. Give your mind the break it deserves and watch as the doors to a brighter, more vibrant future swing wide open.